Hello everyone, it's Julie from Camelia Crafts Designs. I've got a little paper bag junk journal for you today. I've made it from 2 paper bags. I'll be showing you how I do it from start to finish. I've decorated mine using some Tim Holtz papers and ephemera, because you know I don't like fussy cutting, so I love these. Let's have a quick look inside. Yeah, we've got plenty of little pockets for you. I've not even counted pockets. We've got that one there full of lots of little goodies. I've used some Franken pages inside and some other scraps I had lying about. You can see where some of the second paper bag has gone. We've got a large pocket there, one there. I've popped another pocket there, and then just inside the inside cover you've got room to pop lots of bits of ephemera. So while you're working on this journal, you've got room to keep all your bits and bobs. And I'll also be showing you how I did this little closure. I'm quite happy with how that came out. Right, so let's get started. So you need 2 paper bags. I've actually cheated with one and just done a bit of inking ahead of time, just to save a smidgen of time. So let's chuck one of them out at way, and I'll tell you measurements at bag. But the measurements of the bag aren't important. You can make them with any size paper bag. So the height of this closed up is just over 5 inches, and the length is 9.5. I will fold this one, as this is going to be the one I fold. So it's just about square. Well, it's not perfectly square. It would have to be 10 inches long for that. So what we got, there you go, 4 3/4. That's because I can't half 9.5. So it's 4 3/4 wide and 5 high. So just about square. So that is what you will do with your first paper bag. I've used frayed burlap, new colour for me that. I've been watching Margaret over at 7 Plaza and she loves frayed burlap. I had it in the regular distress ink and I wasn't too keen on it, so I've tried this distress oxide one and I like it much better. I do like distress oxide when I'm inking up brown paper. It just shows up better. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to use it for its oxidising abilities by spraying water on, so I just pick it just generally for the colour. In fact, I've seen a bit I haven't inked. I haven't inked down that crease. I'm just going to bend that just a little bit. I'm using my brush as well. Because it's a new ink pad and it's juicy, I tend to find I don't get too much ink on as easily with a brush as I do with my daubers. So that's that. So let's pretend we've just inked all around that. I've inked under that flap as well. I've just lifted it up, popped a bit of card under and inked. Yeah, I've then gone back around with a little bit of walnut stain, which is a bit darker, and just here and there I've dabbed little bits on. Right, so that's that. Now the second paper bag, we're going to cut that, and I'm going to do this with scissors. You can do it with your trimmer if you're braver than me. So what we want to do is, we're just going to cut that bottom part off. So I use that edge as the guide for my big scissors, taking care not to cut my fingers that are underneath off. Yeah, I've nearly done that a few times in the past. So that's why I'm going nice and slow. Yeah, because what we don't want to do is cut any of that off, because then our paper bag will have a hole in it, and nobody wants a hole in the paper bag, do they? No, they don't. So I'm then going to fold this one in half. You don't have to do it exactly in half, because I'm just going to use it as one of the pages in my signature, my papers inside the journal, just as a little bit of added something. And I'm just going to go around the edges. I'm on my inking mat today. It doesn't do anything that a glass mat doesn't do, apart from give an horrible glare when I'm filming. So I dug this out. Thought, make use of it, woman. It's also, if you notice, it's a lot quicker to ink on. Because off camera I'll often use my glass mat, but then with the way I've got my lighting set up and everything, I just get an horrible glare, and I don't like to watch glary videos, so I don't like to produce them. But I'm a vampire, me. I wear sunglasses just about all the time. Yeah, when I'm outside I wear sunglasses year round. I don't like bright sunlight. Whee. It's a migraine thing, isn't it? Just migraines. There we go. So that's that one, and I'm just going to come in with a little bit of walnut stain. Just there we go. So that's that bit done, and then I'm going to do the same to this one. Now this is going to be the little pocket on the inside, so that's going to be the front. That's going to be glued down, so I don't need to ink that. If you're not happy with how straight that edge is where you've cut it, put your lid on your walnut stain so you don't dip in the wrong one. Dippy woman. Yeah, you know, straighten it up a little bit. When I've done this inking, I'm going to move this mat out of the way. I mean, that don't look mega straight, but I can live with it. I can live with it. And then if you want to ink everything else, go ahead and do so. I'm happy I'll ink that bit. I can live with that. Lid on that. And a little bit of walnut stain. Yeah, I'm really liking this colour. Yeah, I'll show you something else I've bought after watching Margaret as well. In a minute. You might have spotted it in the journal. You might have thought, oh, how's she done that? Right, so I'm just going to move this mat out of the way now. What I normally do after this is I spray some water on, and then I'll just dip some cloth, some card, anything in just to colour it up. But as we're not using any of it in this journal, I'll just roll my mat up and shift it, and then I can do that later. Right, back to normal grey mat and bring these back in. So I'll put that to one side for now. I've got my journal. Now you can either, let's show you this one. I've got this pocket here that opens, and I've also made a little side tuck by only gluing it on 3 sides. You can have that at the front or the back. Yeah, I think I'm going to go and do it exactly the same. I'm going to have this little pocket at the back, and I'm going to have this at the front. Now this pocket here, you want to make that pocket now before we go any further. So all I've done is I've cut, and I've used my craft knife for that because I found it easy to get in. I've started it with my craft knife and then used my scissors. So I'll just redo my centre crease. So from that crease I'm going to cut that part there. So I'll just go through. I've made a start with my craft knife. Now I can get my scissors in. I'll use smaller ones. Sorry if I keep turning this, but I have to have it at an angle that I can use. So then down to there. Now I forget which one to cut. Now I need to then cut up there to open up the rest of the pocket. Be a bit faffy this one, but I assure you it's worth it. For that pocket, not a pocket. So if you look in the top now, you've got a pocket. What you're also going to need to do though is glue these flaps down, or they're going to get in the way when you put things in and out of your pocket. So I've done it with a little bit of my art glitter glue, just because I find it easier to get the little pokey end in. You use, where is it? You use what you find easiest. And if you rip out, just glue it back together. Oh, here we go. I've got that flap out. I'm just going to take that off. Can you see how it's part of the fold? Only because that's going to affect my whatever I put in that pocket. Might get caught on it. So just, oh, it's coming out fast. I've filled it up. I filled it up, now I've got loads out. Ecky thump. So just do that, yeah. And then I need to just glue that side. A little bit of glue squidged out there. This is how I did it. Right, I cut up there as well. You see that? And that allows me to fold that back. Yep, that's what I did. Might seem a bit faffy this, but I think it's worth it to get that extra pocket. And then that little triangle there, I'm just going to glue down. So that will do. I then need to glue that bit, just that bit to there. I hope you can see this okay. Just going to put it flat to hold it. You can see when it were made, this paper bag was a little bit wonky, but I'm going to leave that because I don't want to cut that off and leave loads of different leaves of paper to glue together. I'm happy with that. I can live with it. Make sure none of that's stuck where it don't want to be. And we have our pocket. Right. There we go. I'm not going to glue this down yet because I want to do a little bit of stamping and stenciling on there. So next step, I'm going to strengthen this spine. And what I use is just brown tape. I use packing tape. I tend to buy this, which is framer's tape. You know when you have a picture and you put that brown tape on back? I use that because it's a little bit stickier. And I think it holds a bit better. Now, don't worry about them wrinkles there from glue either, because I'm going to put paper on. So, this is how I do it to get it central. I'll unroll my tape. Stay. And I want my tape on the outside of the journal. Now, this is how I decide. This is how I line it up to get central. I'm just getting my crease roughly down the middle. Right, then I'm going to cut that off. Just about that much. And same again. But I'm not going to fold that over onto the inside of the book. You see, I'm just going to pop it in there. Then it's not going to interfere with this top pocket. Same at bottom, just because. Just gives that a little bit of extra strength on the spine when we come to bind it. I'll just recrease that because it's now a little bit thicker. So we've got our tape on it. Yeah, and it's lovely and matte, this bookbinder's tape, so it takes ink quite well. It's a little bit darker than the brown bag, so I think I'll pop a bit of walnut stain on. Yeah, that's that. I'm trying to be tidy, I'm failing miserably like, but I'm trying. So that's that. Yeah, but I'm not going to glue that on yet either, because again I want to do some stamping and stenciling. Right, I'm now going to pick some papers for the outside. That's just about the main construction. That's going to be my pocket, and that's going to be a leaf within the journal. Just as we've got there. I went a bit mad there. That's why I'm inking with brush. When I started inking that one, I used my sponge with the new ink pad, and I got loads on, but I still like the look of it. So, and I'm going to do this exact same closure. This closure, oh yeah, I've put 2 little buttons on there so that as you fill your journal and it gets more chunky, it will expand a little bit more. If it starts to expand too much and you can't fasten it, just thread something through that loop, yeah, and tie that round your journal. There's always a way around stuff, isn't there? Right. Yeah, I was just going to tie this ribbon around it, but I'll show you my ribbon. It's faulty. I've never had this years. Don't know where I got it from. You've got sections with no tape measure on. Then it goes okay there from 50 down to 15. And then it's all printed strangely. And then we get another another bit. And yeah, I think you get the idea. We help me unroll it, rest it roll there, don't you? So I had to come up with something else when I started to unroll it, because I was just going to pop it on and tie it. It's a good job I decided to check that before I glued everything on my front cover. You'll see why. Right, let's pick some papers for front cover. I've got my Timmy scraps out here, my Tim Holtz scraps. Ooh, there's some bits that got auditioned for that first one and didn't get used. Right, I've got this bit here. It's got creases in, so I can't use it all. But I don't know, I think I want that piece on front and it will fit. And I just cut it slightly smaller than front. So we've got 5, was it 5.5 high? I've forgot now. 5 high, sorry, just over 5, and 4 3/4. So yeah, I could use that. I've got other scraps. I've got a lot of strips from when I've cut these down to make pages. I mean, you don't have to have one full piece on the front, you could piece it. Yeah, I don't think I've got another long strip that I want to use in full. So, I like that map piece. Do you know what? I think I'm going to put 2 pieces on front. Yeah. Right, get your little trimmer out, missus. There we go. And let's cut some pieces. I don't know what. This is obviously a failed project. Failed what? I do not know. Just want to cut just inside that crease. And then I'll see how big it is. Oh, that's going to be plenty big enough. I'll cut that off. I'm just cutting where it'll crease to see how big my piece of cardstock is going to be. Is that going to fit on my front or back? Oh, the height's going to be perfect. Oh, I don't know whether I want that front or back. Yeah, the height's perfect. I'm going to have it on the front. Put it on the front, missus. So I'm just going to get a pencil and mark where I want to cut that. Yeah, that's about as much measuring as I tend to do these days. The size of it, obviously, it's going to be particular to your paper bag. These paper bags, they're not completely square. They're not high quality. So you may find you need to trim your paper down. Mine ended up being 4.5 just under by 4 3/4 just over. And I think I want to round corners. Yeah. This video was going to go up yesterday, but I faffed about making the actual journal for so long. I didn't have time left to film it. Put a bit of ink on. So yeah, I thought rather than rush it, leave it for the next day. So I just fancied, I was in the mood to make a completed project again. I didn't want it to be a one-sheet wonder. I wanted it to be a complete little project that would make a nice present. Yeah. And I will glue that on. Right, I've been using my glue stick and my art glitter glue. So I go glue stick nearly everywhere. Then just go around the edge. I've not put pin in now. My last video we're making glue dangles, yeah? Have I put my pin in? No. Luckily, because I've only just filled it up and cleaned my nibs, it's not got gunked up. I thought you've got nice posh glue dangles now, woman. Get your glue filled up and clean your nibs. Right, I've got that the correct way. Ooh, put that down a bit wonky donkey, haven't I? Quick, have a wiggle. There we go. That'll do. It's not going to be perfect, 'cause like I say, these paper bags aren't perfect, are they? I think I'm going to need more under that corner. It just does not want to lay flat. Now I might have put too much on. Keep reminding yourself you've just filled your glue up, woman. It comes out pretty quick. I'll just use my jumper for that one. I'm wearing an old one. Right. So, that is that. I'll need a piece for the back. I'm going to use this map piece. I think that'll go well with it. The other side go even better. Now, we don't want it to be too boring, do we? So I'll mark this down and cut this. Get this glued on. Cut it to there. Then I just need to cut a sliver off. I might after. I don't like speeding video. I'm not going to speed it up. I'm not going to put music on. But I may just do a few little bits without you. Just so the video's less than about 6 hours. So, what we got there? Yeah, I need to cut a little bit more off. I should have marked it with a pencil instead of guesstimating it. So, voila, that's that stuck on. I just cut a little sliver off edge, as you saw me doing when I paused. Now, while that dries a little bit better, I'm going to start inking the inside. I've got a couple of my favourite stencils. I had a couple of 3. Have I lost one? If I have, I'll just be using them too. Oh, there it is, hiding. Yeah. And my Tim Holtz one, that's the splatters. If anybody is interested, I don't know what number it is that on packet? Yeah, the Stampers Anonymous ones. And that one is a Craft Treat stencil, a CTS 673. They are all on my Amazon storefront. And I'm just going to see where this pocket goes, because I don't want to waste my time stenciling where we're not going to see. I'll just pop a bit of card underneath. And I'm going to stencil again using this brush and that frayed burlap, just so it's not plain brown. So I'll have that there. I did a little bit of stenciling and a little bit of stamping. Oops, that just moved. Yeah, nothing too thrilling. I want a little bit of that on as well. I don't take hours over my stenciling, me. I'm just like a bit slapdash. It's good when you're doing something grungy though. You don't have to take forever over it. And then I'm going to come in and stencil. That's why I've not glued that pocket down, because I just want to do a bit of stenciling here. Not all of it, just a little bit. There we go. And then a few more little splashes. Let's put it upside down this time. Yeah, I want something there. There we go. And this, oh, I'm just going to glue that down. Because I'm going to put something over it to make another little tuck spot. And I don't want this getting in the way when you tuck in a tag or a journal card in. So, there we go. That's that. And then I'll just have a little bit of stenciling up top. There we go. So I didn't use my brick one at all. You could have done that on outside for little bits on edge, but there's such a little amount showing I didn't bother. Right, pop them over there. And I'm going to bring in some stamps. These are the ones I used on the other. I left them out. I'm using, that's the cover for my Amazon Kindle, just to hold them. I've got a stamp block. I'm going to use my VersaFine Onyx Black. That's on my glue drying on my fingers. And I'm just doing a little bit of random stamping. I like that one. Ooh, put it on. Then stick it on block. My stamps need cleaning. And I'm just going to stamp this off once on a bit of spare paper, just so it's not too dark. And there we go. Put you back. I've got this teeny tiny little piece of text stamp that I love. It comes with the one of the sets with mushrooms in. I'll show it you. This one. Stampers Anonymous CMS377. Because I always have somebody ask me this. It's got a few little splashes. Oh, I like that. I might use that. Oh, there we go. So, where's my block gone? I've lost it already. Right, we've stamped that up and not used it. I want that up top there. There we go. I mean, it doesn't stamp perfect because we're stamping on lots of different layers of paper bag, but I think that all adds to it, doesn't it? That's better. I'm more organised there. Right, I think I'm going to stamp that one. Stamp it off, and I'll have this one showing up the top. There we go. So that'll poke out there when I've put that pocket on. And then I think I'll have a number down here, and that specimen one. Stamp it off. There we go. We'll have that big number. These are from the Etc. set by Holtz again. So, yeah, I like that. We want something else here. I've got this. Do I want that? Yeah, let's try a little bit of that. I'm not going to put that on a stamp block. I don't want to have one big enough out for it. I think I'm going to pop that there. Yeah, it's very wonky, but we don't mind. I always get myself in a tangle stamping, get inky. Yes, I need to clean my stamps. One day I will. You've got time to clean your stamps, is there? You want to be using them, not cleaning them. And I think I'm going to get another one out. I want a different one. So this is the... Oh, it's field notes I've been using, not eccentric. Oh, I might put that there. Yeah. That one will look good. And then I think that will be it for the stamping. Just gonna tip that back. There we go. I don't like that line. Do you know, I might even cut that off on that stamp. I just don't like it. I don't know why. I just don't. One more. I've just decided I want a little number up top. There we go. Then I'm happy. I'm a happy stamper. Put you away, because we ain't going to need you again. And we'll put you away and clean you later, or sometime never, indeed. Right. Yeah, I'm happy with the amount of stamping I've got there now and stenciling. It just makes that inside look a little bit less boring. I didn't want to cover it again with design paper because this Tim Holtz paper is quite thick and it would have made it a chunky journal before you even put anything in it. Just give your fingers a little bit of a clean, woman. There we go. Right, so now we can glue this pocket in. But before I do, I'll show you my new tool. I had to have this when I saw Margaret at 7 Plaza have it. It's the Monster Whale Tail Tab Punch. Look how huge that is. Have I got the other one to show you the difference? That's your regular size and that's the Monster. I absolutely love it. So that does that size tab. And the little one does the little baby biddy size tabs. How cute are they? In fact, they look nice when you just do that. You could do layered tabs. That looks nice. But I had to have it. And I couldn't buy it from Vass & Creative Direct because the postage is like £18. But luckily I found it on eBay in the UK. So if you're in the market for that, ladies, in the UK, I honestly don't know where you'd get it from as yet in the US, other than going straight to Vass and Creative and paying huge amounts of postage. But someone's going to get them in stock soon, aren't they? They just are. I know I weren't going to buy anything new, but I've justified that by it being my Christmas present to me from all you lovely people who've bought me coffees. Yeah, so thank you very much. That's what I've bought myself for Christmas. I couldn't resist it. Right, get on with what you're doing. Right, I'm going to, yeah, put some card on that before you glue it on. Then if you muck it up, you can swap it out for another piece, because there's always that chance you're going to mess something up, in the woman. Especially when you're talking 10 to a dozen. Right, get your chopper back out. I'm just going to chop that off where it creases. I'm hoping this is then going to be long enough to mat onto that, because I really want to use that bit with label part on it. Let's have a look-see. I don't know what I've done with my tiny chopper. Oh yeah, that's going to be perfect. Perfect. So again, I'll come in with a pencil mark and just mark it. The gap around the edge, it's somewhere between an 1/8 and a 1/16 of an inch. That's how unperfect to do things these days. Found my little baby chopper. Oh, here we go, that's much easier to fit on the table. Right, so I just need to cut that edge off around my corners. So I'm going to do exactly the same here as I did up front. I'm going to round the corners, I'm going to ink it, and I'm going to stick it on. So that's that stuck on. Now get the big chompy punch. I mean, I've done all that talking about it and I haven't used it, have I? I know I have some ready punched out, but I want something that's going to matchy-match for that. Right. I'm thinking I want that checked bit. Yeah. So. Ooh. Don't drop this on your toes. You do some damage. I don't want to waste this by folding up too much for it. I'm going to fold it about there. Because with these stamps, you have to fold your card in half. Stamps, punches. You have to fold your card in half and then you punch your label. It just punches the 3 sides, doesn't it? We'll end up with that Camden on. Open it, woman. Open, sesame. Yay. I like to use it upside down so I can see. So you can see what's going to be on. Yeah. We'll have that. And it cuts like a knife through butter. That's 2 thicknesses of Tim Holtz card. But it is described as a heavy duty punch, and it certainly is. I'm loving it. So, you can stay around for this bit of inking. Have another dip, have another dip. So that's just going to go on there. We're going to cover that 5 up, but that doesn't bother me. Oh, I like it. And I'm just going to stick that to that one side. Then we get that opening up of the bag. I wish I could remember who I first saw do these little pockety bags, but I just love them. I did a video on just making the bags way back when, and I've not used one in anything for a while. I thought, oh, let's use that little technique. Right, so we'll have you about there. I'm just going to slide it in. I like to have that bit level with edge of paper. I don't know, I just do. You don't have to. It's not a requirement. It's just what I like. And then just to make this look a little bit fancier, I've put an eyelet in. I know I like putting eyelets in, but this time I've used one of these chompy We Are Memory Keepers eyelets. Let's have a bronze one. No, because you always want bronze. Have a black one. Yeah, have a black one. I always used to like to use bronze ones for closures on things, but I don't use the black ones as often. And you buy them in like little mixed sets of colours and finishes. So this is purely for decoration. No other reason. And they always finish off so lovely and smooth on back then. Now I can stick this on. Now when you do stick it on, make sure that, can you see? Yeah. We want to be able to close the journal. We want some clearance. And I'm just going to put glue on that side, and that side to give me that little tuck pocket. So let's pop that on. To be honest, it might have been easier decorating my front before putting this on, but oh well, I've done it now, haven't I? I can't remember which way around I did it when I made prototype. So I was making it over hours, I was getting interrupted by things. But at least I'm ready for Christmas. Are you all ready for Christmas? It's unusual for me to be ready for Christmas, I'll tell you, before Christmas Eve. But this year I thought I'm gonna have to do it earlier. I've always been one of those kind of people that's wrapping presents till 3 o'clock in the morning Christmas Eve, but I just can't do it these days. I sleep too much. I'd fall asleep and would miss Christmas. We don't want that, do we? We don't, Deirdre, no. Right, so that's that. I'm liking this already. Now, for that pocketing back, I'll show you my prototype. I just picked a nice little card out of one of these Tim Holtz packs. I'll tell you which pack I'm using, but disclaimer. Oh, I'll just pop that in. How cute is that little teeny tiny matchbook thing? It would just fit nicely. I'll link the video to where I made those if you're interested. Yeah, I do tend to, quite often when I'm putting these things away, put them in the wrong packets. So this is the Ensemble ephemera pack by Tim Holtz. Again, they're all on my, if they're available on Amazon, they're on there. The other place I buy them in UK is Budley Crafts and Charmed Cards and Crafts. I know in US they're available in lots more places, aren't they? And as for Europe, well, you know where you can get them, is all I will say. Right, I'm just going to glue this down. It's not a full depth pocket, that. It's too complicated to start cutting that. I've tried it and it all goes wrong. So I've gone for that top pocket answer. So we've just got a half depth pocket here, but it's still a little tuck spot, isn't it? We like our little places to tuck bits and bobs. Whee. So that's that. I'm going to put my big chompy punch on that to hold it down while it dries. Where have you gone, big chomper? And gadung. Oh, it make a good doorstop, that, wouldn't it? Sizer it. And I'm just going to look in my bits and bobs. Right, I've already took some pieces out of that ephemera pack out. You know, ones I'd auditioned. They've ended up in here. So I like them, but they're a bit white, aren't they? I'll use one as a journal card, like I did in my previous one. That one's a bit boring. Oh, that's a nice journal card. Bit of a snooze fest, that one, isn't it? I were toying with the idea of using one of these frames. Do you know what? I think I will. Let's make a pocket with a frame. There we go. We could have, if I were going to do that, I could have done more stenciling. Let's not use a frame on this one, but you could make a pocket with a frame. You can glue it 2 sides and bottom, or 1 side and bottom. You don't have to put acetate in it. It can be used as a pocket, the dead handy. Yeah, that would look good, but when you took that out it wouldn't look so good, would it? So I'm going to carry on with plan A and use one of my little bitties and bobbies. So what else we got? What else we got that would make a nice pocket? Let's look in the main pack. Ooh, here we go. Right. There's just also, there's such a huge pack. 136 pieces you get in these. Ooh, we've got that. ooh, we've got that. Don't know why I need to say ooh. Somehow I feel the need to say ooh. Ooh, 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 I want to be like you. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, someone's going to tell me what that's from, aren't they? Thank you to everyone who let me know that... I can't remember what it was. Last thing I was singing on a video. They let me know who sung it. And I'm like, yeah. Once you say it, I know it. And I forgot what that were. Oh, dear. Yeah, I'm going to use that. I like it. But I'm going to ink it. It's amazing the transformation just a little bit of ink round edges can make, isn't it, to some things. I like to do that sometimes so things aren't curling forwards. There we go. I like that. But can you see what I've not done? That looks so bare, doesn't it? That is so bare. Grab your stencil off the windowsill, woman. Just get some ink on that because it looks really bare. Oh yeah. Don't use the same bit. That's better. And I need one stamp. I'm going to use this one that I didn't use before. And hopefully it's got enough ink on it. We'll see, won't we? Get your bit of scrap card. If it ain't got enough ink on it, won't stamp. Oh, there we go. I'm also going to use a bit of this. I know I've used it somewhere else. In fact, there we go. So we don't want that bareness. That's better. And I'm just going to glue this on that side and the bottom. So holding it on the corners, the sides I don't want gluing. Whee. Yeah, I'm probably working a bit quicker than I normally do because there's a lot to get done in this project. And like I say, I don't want the video to be 6 hours. I'm conscious that I shortchanged you last time when my video was 20 minutes. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, my inky fingers have put some extra marks on there, but do you know what? It's all adding to the grunginess, so I can live with it. Let's clean your inky fingers off, woman. Yeah, much like I cannot wear white clothes, I was never really good at making white cards when I was a card maker. I'd always get some muck on them. Right, I'm going to use that as well, I think, as my journal card to tuck behind. Either behind or in there. Oh, in there. That looks good. We could put something a little bit more boring in there then. What shall we get? I've got one I can see. I don't know. That's not the one I was aiming for. The one I was aiming for has disappeared in with all the others. Yeah. Use that. You can change it out. It's just as for instance. That, I think, is going to go in my little pocket. Oh, look what I've done here. Right, I've made a mistake. Can you see? When I've stuck that on, I've caught that. So let's repair this mistake. A little bit of my tab has gone over onto there. So let's see if I can get that out without ripping my paper bag. Luckily I have. Had I not, I would have repaired it with a bit of that brown tape. So there you go. Not everything goes perfect all the time. That's better. So we've got that in there. And you can put all sorts, anything and everything in there. Let's put a spare tab in for someone to use elsewhere in the journal. There we go. Right, so that's the inside just about done. So my papers on that outside should be lovely and dry now. So it's time to think about doing the closure and decorating the front. So I'm going to grab my... Yeah, it's ribbon. It's like a linen ribbon. And what I want to do is I want to have some stuck on there. It's going to go all the way around. And then it's going to come, can you see? It's going to make this little tab to fasten it. So I'm just looking how much I've got I'm conscious of the fault. Oh, that will be good. I'll have enough. Yeah, I'll have enough. I'm not going to cut it off at the end of that 50. I'm going to leave that. So show you inside the edge of here. I have glued that around, yet to make it a little bit more secure. So the bit I glue around on this one will be that blank part, yeah? So let's measure, it's going to go round. Da-da. Yeah, then I want enough left here. Oh, I'll have enough left here before we get to that faulty part. Yes. So I'll cut it off there. Don't know why I picked these scissors up. There we go. Right, I will glue this on, and then I will show you sewing on the press studs at the very end, because you might not be using this kind of closure and you might not need to see this. If you were doing what my initial idea was going to be, just gluing 2 pieces of twine on and then tying them, just go ahead and glue your twine on now and decorate the cover along with me. Yeah, because I'm going to be making this little fiddly thing with press studs. That is going to be the last thing I will do. Also, when it's the last thing you do, you know where to place your second press stud. You know how chunky your journal is. So you can fasten it, and then you can place another press stud for when your journal gets a little bit chunkier after you've put a few bits in. I hope you follow that. So let's glue this ribbon on. Again, I'm using my art glitter glue. I use it for just about everything. We've got a journal with lines on. So I'm going to use that line there as my guide. So I'm applying my glue to the front, not to ribbon. Oh, you silly woman. I can't do that yet. I do have to sew my 2 press studs on before I do this. Yes, I do. So let's pretend that just didn't happen. Right, I'm going to go. I will sew my press studs on so this is ready to glue, and then I will show you, I'll tack the bit onto the end of how to sew the press studs on. Okay. So I'm back. I wiped that glue off. I've sewn those 2 press studs on. You can see that at the very end if you want to. It's time stamped, but that's just basically sewing 2 press stud bottoms on just at the point where you're going to glue it. Right, so anyone who's just putting a regular closure on, you won't need to know about that. So now I'm going to glue it on. Can't believe I did that. I can see exactly where to put my glue because I've got a gluey line that I wiped off. Right. Yeah, so if you don't have press studs or you don't want to use press studs, just remember to glue your closure on at this point if you're going to be using this type of closure. You may want to just wrap something around after that isn't attached at all. Right, that's that. Squishy, squishy. Right, so now let's find some bits to decorate the front with. On this one, I've had a few questions about how to decorate journals. I'm maybe not the best person to ask because I do normally like them quite plain, but this one, what I do is I pretend I'm making a card. I pretend I'm making a greeting card, and then I find it easier for some reason. I just don't know. Maybe because I spent so many years making greeting cards. So I'm going to find something that I want as my base. I'm going to look through the pieces I've got in here. I don't think I've got many big ones. Like on that one I used a bingo, but I might use a different bingo. I might have more than one. I might do it so that we can see the whole of that. I don't know. That might be interesting. So that's a possibility. I don't tend to like using the shiny ones as my bases. I don't mind them a little bit for ephemera being shiny, but as my large piece. I don't like those being shiny. So let's have another look in the large ephemera pack. Where's it gone? Here it is. Oh, is that a different? Oh, this is a different one. What's this? It says ensemble ephemera. No, it must be the same one. It's got to be the same one. I mean, I tend not to go for something like that because if I'm wanting to collage smaller pieces, no, we could use a frame and then pop something in. That might be quite interesting. A frame, and then, I mean, it's all personal preference how you're going to do this, isn't it? Decorate it. I'm thinking, oh, do you know, I like that. I do like that. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that frame. Yeah, I'm going to put the bingo card at the bottom. And the butterfly. Yeah, I know it's covering up most of that, but I don't mind that. Yeah, I quite like that. And then I just want some extra little bits and bobs sticking out. Like, I'll use part of a ticket sticking out there. There's probably technical ways to decide what to do and balancing your page and all that, but oh, I can't remember it. So I just keep sticking bits on until it looks good. Well, placing bits, because if it doesn't look good I won't stick it down. So I've got a little ticket here. I'm just rifling through all these bits. That says dance. I don't know. I might have that. I could have that sticking out there. I first got this idea from watching Artie Mays and Yvonne Preston. They always did little bits like this and it always looked so good. I thought, yeah, I'm going to do that. I've got someone hovering. Hello, hovering child.
Sainsbury's.
Oh, my Sainsbury's shop's here. I best go and come back to you, or we're not going to have any Christmas dinner. So 2 takes. Hello, I'm back. I've got my Sainsbury's shop. In fact, I started filming without pressing button. So I haven't done anything you haven't already seen. You know the little bits that I placed and said, oh, I like them? I've glued them down. Luckily, that's all I'd done before I realised that, yeah, I weren't filming. So yeah, I've glued the bingo card down. I've glued my frame down, my butterfly. I've glued that little ticket under edge there, and I've glued that special delivery there. What I did do, I mean, I was telling you all about it, but I didn't do it. I've not glued right to the edge on the bottom of that bingo card because I want to tuck something under it, another ticket, but I don't know what yet. Same with this frame, I've not glued to the very edge. And also same with my butterfly. I've just glued in the middle because, can you see, it looks slightly raised because his wings have come up over that frame. So yeah, there we go. As if by magic, all that happened on its own. Right, I've just grabbed these other little Tim Holtz snippety things. Snippety snippeties. And I'm just finding something to go there. I want something there. And I was just saying that you could use a stamp if you wanted. Oh, I like that little red, teeny tiny red label. Can you see it? Oh, that's just so teeny and tiny. And as we've got that half a label there, I'm tempted to, like, if I had one exactly the same size, oh, I might just do that anyway. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I don't know. I've got another one of those that I used on other. I like that one, but I'm not going to use it because I used it on last one. Oh, I've got a little square red ticket there. So can you see I can just tuck that under. I like that tucked under. I might move it before I glue it, I don't know. But we need something there. Oh, what about a little faux stamp? That might be good. I've got a little oval. No, I don't like that. I'm thinking I might just stamp. I'm going to stamp something there. I think that's going to look better. So if I get my stamps back out, I think I just want to stamp. I've got one of them actually says Field Notes on it. I would hope it's this set that is called Field Notes, but you know what? I think it might not be. I could put one of those fig things on, like it would be if it were in a book, fig, whatever. Or that number 4899 might look good above the Flutterby. I'm thinking a fig one would look better. The figs always come in pairs. I'm going to put this one on, this fig 1 and fig 2. I hope I'm not blinding you with this. Yeah, I think that's going to look good. I really hope this stamp's okay, because it's all glued down now. It will, it will. Have confidence, woman. No, it's going to go wrong. Why would it go wrong? Haha. So, where's your ink gone? Oh, God, I put it away, didn't I? Yeah? Yeah, I put it away. Now, that's something I don't do often. So, link it up. I think I've already put my inking off pad away, so I'm just going to... Where's my bit of scrappy card gone that we're inking on? Oh, we've lost that and all. Oh, I'm a bit of a nightmare. I'm going to ink on this bag. Should ink on anything. There we go, just to get the darkness of the ink off. I'm going to tilt that towards me so I can see where to put it. Oh, I like that. I may have pressed on a bit hard and squidged my stamp a bit, but I still do like it. That's what I was going for. Ooh. I know, thinking about that stamp, it just seems to get lost, doesn't it? Oh, what about a clock? I seem to like that clock. I think I like that clock better there. Yeah. So let's put a bit of glue on that. So we have covered that label up. I think I like that better now with having that little label there. So, yeah, you can cover up the bits that are already there. That's a bit 3D-ish. There we go. And I want something, a word or something over that bingo ticket. Yeah, I like that there. So I'm just going to come in and ink the edges, grunge it up a little bit. A little bit of glue. And let's stick that under there. Get it straight, Miss Sis. I think I've put it a little bit too far that way. There we go. That's straight enough. We like it. It's just adding little teeny tiny bits until you're happy. I don't know why. I might like that. Or something smaller, do we think? Something smaller. You just play about until you're happy. If you've not glued them, you can always change your mind. I want something a bit... We don't want another frame, we've got one frame. These are all slightly bigger bits and bobs. We've got butterflies. We don't want another butterfly. We don't want another butterfly. Oh, that might be good. What does it say? Pay to the order of. I don't know whether that's... That one says Railway South London Bridge. No, I don't like that. Sometimes I'm not too fussy and I'll stick out on, but when it's a journal cover, sometimes I think you need that perfect piece, and I think that could be it. Or that one. That one. That took some doing, didn't it? I'm going to ink the edges. What's that? Oh, they're just some strings that hang off those frames of Timothy Holtz's. It's light still alright. Yeah, it got a bit dark while I was getting my shopping in. And excuse me if I've already said this, but this is, yeah, that's what I was prattling on about when I realised camera weren't working. I was saying, if you live in UK, you will know that what tends to happen when you have online shopping deliveries, the ones near Christmas, you get lots of things that have been swapped. That's a bit wonky and I just really don't like it. But I've just seen that number. Yeah, I can get over it if I put that number on. Yeah. Yeah, you get lots of items that you've ordered swap for alternatives, and there's always stories in newspapers about someone got the turkey swapped for, I don't know, a can of rice pudding or something. But I've done very well. Yeah, I like that better now. Ooh, and I think I may stop. I know I said I wanted something there, but I don't know, I like that special delivery. Yeah, everything I ordered has arrived. The only swaps have been for, say, a different brand of what I initially ordered. Yeah, I want that there. Or a larger size, which is always good because she gets charged for a small size. Yeah. Oh, that's upside down, you silly woman. Get your eyes tested, missus. Yeah. Make sure that's straight. I like that. And I'm going to stop there. That's done. I really like that. So, I'll just pause while I move these and then we'll be back to do the finishing touches. There we go. I've just tidied them bits away. You didn't really need to watch me play a 52 piece of paper pickup, did you? No. Right. And yeah, I quite like that one. I really do like that. So, one other thing I'm going to add. If you look there, I was thinking, oh, where can I add one of those on this? And I've got the perfect spot. It's just one of the front pieces to the press studs. Because on this project I use more back pieces than front, I end up with these spare front ones. So I'm just going to glue that on there. Yeah, hey. In middle of clock, I think it looks good. And again, yeah, I use art glitter glue. It does glue metal. And it glues it quite well. There we go. That's that. Ta-da! I'm liking it. Right, what have we got left to do? We've got the signature pages to do. Now, I cheated slightly with this, as in I've got them partly ready. But the reason for that is because a lot of the pages are the other half of the pages I put in my first journal. Because I have a box. In fact, I'll show it you. Just to, just to see. I've got a box here. And my label on it is journal pages. And in it are lots of pieces of paper already folded in half, ready to use as journal pages in various journals. But, you know, if I've had an odd sheet or something, I've thought, oh, that'll be a nice journal page. We'll fold that in half. Or if I've taken a few out of a journal because I've got too many pages in. So that is what I've got. So that is one page. That will be another page. I'm going to need to cut the height down on that. And to know that my height is going to be okay, do you remember the bit we put to one side at the beginning that we cut off the paper bag? That's what I'm going to use as a reference for my height, because that is the same height as our journal. So, yeah, that'll be fine. So that's one page, 2 page. That is just from an old planner. I was thinking of putting some pink pages in, I'm not so sure. I'll put one pink page in, we don't need two. Again, that is half of the page that went into the centre of this journal. I just cut it in half. I don't know which way round it went in half, but I assure you that's what it is. So that's that. I'm going to cut that down to the required height. No, don't cut that bit off. I want those pages in. Something I've never used on camera. I've had it years. I've got one of those cinch machines that binds journals with the wire. Mine's the one that punches square holes. Oh, I'd wanted one for years, and then one went cheap on Create and Craft in UK. It was ridiculously cheap and I bought it. And I've not used it a lot, to be quite honest. But we do that, don't we, as crafters? We go mad wanting something and then we don't use it. Right, this is the other half of the Franken page that I put in the other book. Now, I can either have that on front or that mushroom. I think I might want the mushroom. No, I'll have the flower. I'll never kill myself making a decision, will I? that's going to be another page. Check on the height. Yep, that's fine. I think that was the end page from a book. Oh, it's an Edith Holden book. Yeah. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 with the bag. I think that's the amount of pages I put in the last one. So let's arrange these. I want my Franken page at the front. Yeah. I had my book page in the centre. I think I'll do the same again. So that's going in last. I want another interesting page underneath that. Don't put it upside down, woman. It'll look much better right way up. There we go. Oh, we've had a crafter lunch. What were it? Oh, it's me new punch. It slid from where I put it. That's like a greaseproof paper. I'm still going to use it. I thought it was just white craft paper. I'm not even putting any tea dyed paper in this because I've got enough pages without. And, oh, that looks good. I like that. So then next I'm going to put my paper bag in. Yeah. Then I'll put the Edith Holden page in. We'll just check. Oh, I'm going to need to cut a couple of those down a little bit. Do you know what? I'm going to risk it for a biscuit. Oh, might regret this. Cutting them all down while they're put together. There we go. Spot on. So we've got the Bitter Edith page. I think I'm going to turn it so that you can see the writing there. Then I'm going to put that diary page, and then I'm going to put my piece of book page. So that's, yeah, that Preston's all stuck now. So that's, yeah, that's what it's going to look like. I'm just going to hutch these up a little bit. There we go. They're going to be my pages in the middle. I like. And let's sew those in. Because there's only like 5 or 6 pages, well 6 or 7, maybe 8. I counted them once, didn't I? And I forgot. I'm not even going to bother pre-making holes. I've got my needle ready threaded, and I'm going to, because we know that paper bag is the same height, I want that in the middle. And I'm just going to eyeball this. I'm going to go straight through with my needle. There we go. And I'm going to come straight through with my thread as well. I like that. And then I'm going to get my trusty piece of squidgy foam. And I'm going to go straight back with my needle. If I can do it. I can't do it. I'm still going to have to use my awl. I can't find all I started to make. Oh, there we go. But I'm going to go straight in with my needle. Oh, it's stuck in. Look at that. It was stuck in my foam and it's helped pull it through. I'm going to have to adjust my lighting soon as it gets darker. So pull that through. Shuffle it all back together. This is the quickest binding in the world ever. And I'm going to go back through with my needle. I'm not even measuring it, I'm eyeballing it. I had strength to the first one. It's like I used all my strength up in one push. So I'm going to have to make the hole with my awl. Oh, there you go. And we'll go straight through. No need for pins or out because Note's had time to move between punching hole and going through with thread. And then we need to go back in that middle hole with needle. I can feel resistance, so that's telling me something's not lined up right. So I don't mind having to go back through them all one at a time. There's not a lot of pages, that's not a huge bother. I'd rather do that than make accidental second holes. If I can see it, needle. Julie, you need your eyes testing. There we go. I've got the needle behind the thread. And through that. I used to be right scared of binding journals, and I'd put it off for as long as possible, but you know what, if it goes wrong, unthread it all and do it again. It's not a thing that has to be done perfect first time. There's always something else you can do. Even if it's have another go at doing exactly what you tried to do in the first place. Ooh. Right, so we want a piece of thread either side of that centre part. Now I think I may have sewed through my twine, I'm not sure. I have, look. So, have I? Oh, I'll tell you what I have done there. Can you see? I've not gone through my what's it? So I'm going to have to unthread these. You say you like it when things go wrong, so I'm going to unthread both middle ones. Can you see what happened? I'd not gone through my ribbon. So the problem of having sewn through the twine is now gone. Ooh. I'm thinking I might have found an easier way to do binding. I'm going to thread both of these through, because they both need to go through that middle hole, don't they? And see what occurs. It might all be too thick to get through. We don't know. We just don't know. So pages are all held in place. I need to put a hole in that, exactly where that hole is. So I'll do that by coming back through front middle. Watch. You can do it. I'm sorry for all the flippity-flappiting. Right, now, before I lose that hole, I'm going to go back in from outside. I'm going to have to go through each page one at a time again. So hopefully, well, not hopefully, I'm not wishing you've done it wrong, but if anyone out there has had this problem, you've just seen how to fix it. The world hasn't ended. Come on, you can do it, done it. Straighten everything up on outside. I'll take the needle off now, and I'm just going to pull these two through slowly and gently, because I'm conscious my papers aren't lined up. Put that to the other side at middle thread. And, oh look, we've got exactly what we were aiming for in the first place. We just took a roundabout way of getting there, didn't we? Yeah. So, we're done. Check I've got no loops at back and front where I don't want them. Yeah, looking good. And I'm going to tie this off. So I do apologise if you don't know what were happening there. But basically my binding went wrong, so I had to come up with a fix for it, and I think in the process I've come up with perhaps an easier way of doing binding. I think I might do that in future, you know. Right, rather than starting in the middle and going out, or when I get there I will unthread the middle thread and put both of them back through at the same time, then you can't stab your other thread with your needle. You know what I mean. If you're a beginner, you might not know. You might just think, what is this woman on with? What's she waffling about? But if you've had that trouble before, you'll know exactly what I mean. Right, so that's my little pages in. I've no idea how long this video's took, but it's Christmas, isn't it? Yeah, watch it. Watch a bit a day. Right, we've done the back bit. And I just need to decorate that now and pop my cards in. We're going to pop one in there, which was the plan. I'm going to pop that one in there, which may have been plan, I don't know. I can't remember. I might have had a sleep since then, I'm not sure. And I need a card to pop in the top there. I've got... Will that look good? Yeah, that'll look good. I've already got one of those punched. So, hang on. Would one of those look nice in top? No, I'd cover half that flower up with that, wouldn't I? So let's grab something else. Make a journal card from anything you want. I could put a photo of Great Aunt Gertrude in it. That might be good. We've got a postcard. Don't like that. Oh, we've got this. I'm going to put that encyclopedia thing in. You can then decorate it up more at a later date if you want to. Little trimmer. I'm just going to adjust my lighting, people. 2 ticks. There we go. Do you know what, lighting's going to be all over in this video. It's because I've been filming it on and off for so long now. We've got a bit of a pink sunset tonight. That's supposed to mean something, isn't it, when it's looking pink on a night? I think these days it just means there's pollution in air, doesn't it? What's the red sky at night? Something. Oh, I've got somebody at my door now. 2 ticks. Hello, it were Amazon. Yeah, it's Amazon. Things arriving for last minute Christmas presents. Like I was saying, this video has been filmed in so many bits and bats, I have not got a clue how long it is. But however long it is, it'll be going up. I feel like I shortchanged you beginning at week. Oh, I don't know whether I like that now. It's not even going to be big enough, is it? It's not going to be long enough. What were I thinking? Tell you what, let's just use a piece of card that I've already got. Here we go. That'll match. Ooh, that'll match the back. Did I hit my camera with that? Yeah. I'm going to use this. Yeah. I'll just cut it to size. Put that out it where we cut. And then I'll back it with some tea-dyed paper. I want to cut that edge off because it's a bit knocked about for starters. You know what, journal's a little bit under 5 inch. I'm going to make that 3 3/4 wide. And I'm going to make it yay much over 4. Make it taller than that. Make it taller than that. Yeah. So it's that big. It is. It's that big, yeah. It's 3 3/4 by, oh, I'd say about 4 1/2. Something like that. I'll round the corners. I mean, every journal card doesn't need to be a work of art, does it? I mean, I could leave that if you wanted to write with a white gel pen, but I don't know. See, the edge is a bit of an ink. You could just decorate up the front, but I'm not going to make you watch me decorate up another little thing. Wake up! Anyone who's fallen asleep, wake up. There we go. Yeah, that's going to be better. Because I just want it to poke out at top at journal. I'm going to do the same thing I did with the other tab. I'm going to pop a hole in. And I'm going to pop one of those wide eyelets in. I'll use I don't know what colour that is. It's not black, but I think it could be gunmetal or a really dark bronze. I can't really tell in this electric light. So I don't do a lot in electric lighting because I find it hard to differentiate between the colours. And I just, yeah. A lot of them can't see, can they, Deirdre? Right. So yeah, that top pocket that we may have forgot about. Oh, that's perfect. I just love the look of it sticking up at top. Do you know, I think I may be happier with this journal cover than my first one. I really like it. It's really nice. And a little bit of decorating on here. We've got flowers there. I think I may do a flower. Let's get this set out. I think I've chucked the packet away for this set that has the birds in. It's one of the more recent ones. I'm saying more recent. It's perhaps about 6 months to a year old now. We don't get them in UK until they're a bit old on Amazon. Oh, I think I might like that. Yeah. And I've just found that number that I was going to put on front. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Or could I put it at bottom? Oh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it at bottom. I'm not going to glue that in. I'm just going to tuck it. Then I'll find another label for up there. Find the big paperweight. Here we go. That is a fabulous paperweight, that. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I decided to do that like so. I think it would be because that can go through bottom. Yeah, I like that. I do like that. Good idea, woman. And I want some kind of label-y thing up there. I know I've said this before. What on earth did we do before labels? We put sentiments and everything, didn't we? Labels are brilliant for people who don't like... I don't like a lot of sentiments. I don't like overly cheesy ones, as I think they are. I like to put sentiments on as I gift something because the sentiment means something to the person, if that makes sense. So I don't do a lot of random sentiments. I like that. Whee. Pinky pinky barley boo. No idea what that means. I'm sure it means something I shouldn't be singing about. Somewhere at the back of my head it's telling me that. There we go. And glue that up. Move, giant paperweight. Ugh. Just gonna... I don't know if I've even got that straight. It don't matter if I've got the circle one straight. I want that one straight. There we go. So that's my decoration there. I like it. I like how that can come in and out. I don't know why, I just do. Little things like that please me. Right, so we've got bits in there. You can put anything you want in there. There's no limit. We've got a little card tucked in there. If we go to the back, we just popped a little card in there and in there. We've made that. So it's got 1, 2, 3. Right. You may get a bit of resistance when you put that in because we've got the 2 sides of the bag, haven't we? But I assure you it will go in with a wiggle. There we go. Then we've got that there. So it's about 6 pockets, isn't it? Right. So if you were just using a bit of twine that you'd tied in a knot, a bit of ribbon that you were going to tie there, you're done and dusted, you're finished. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Right, I haven't really gone anywhere because I'll be back in a minute. You'll be able to see me sew those 2 on and sew that on. You need to sew those 2 on before you make the book, but you need to sew the last one on after you've made the book, basically so that you know where to sew that front Preston, and I'll show you how I did it. so that we've got, it looks like we've got a press stud either side, but we haven't really, it's an illusion. So, see you in 2 ticks. So, this is your add-on at the end. Right, I'm going to sew my press studs on, like I did on this one. Yeah. So, I've got my piece of, yeah, what's it called? Is it ribbon? Is it twine? I don't know. Got my piece of stuff cut. Now, I want my press studs, I'll take 2 off. I'm going to use 2 bottom ones. So as I've explained before, it's so that you can loosen the journal a little bit if you get a lot of stuff in. Yeah. I've got my needle threaded ready. Look at me, organised. Who'd have thunk it, Who'd have thunk it? It's just not me, is it? So I've just got some regular black sewing thread, and I'm going to sew them on. Sew one on. I mean, if you've sewn a press stud on before, you know they've just got 4 holes in. Well, these ones I've got have. And I'm just going to sew them on like you would a button, using those holes. If you're happy, if you want them to be extra secure, pop a little bit of glue on first. I don't think I need to. I mean, I think this sewing of these 2 is going to be pretty straightforward, she says. Yeah. I haven't got my thread caught. Pretty straightforward, but I've just got my thread caught. You're just going to make sure you don't go over your little bumpy notch. Take it out from underneath your journal and make your life a bit easier. So I perhaps put about 4 stitches through each side. So there, oops, there we go. Do you know, if you had a light box, like I do have, somewhere, I think kids have nicked it, if you pop that underneath, you'd be able to see exactly where to come up. They have loads of uses, them light boxes. Whee. It's one of those gadgets that, had I got a bigger craft room, I'd probably have it out on my table all the time, just to pop on when I need it. I'm just going to tell my kids to be quiet. Children, yeah. I'm filming. We don't need to hear your gallivanting. They're giddy, aren't they? It's Christmas in a few days. Even at 17, they still get giddy. Right, I think that one more, then I'll be happy with how secure it is. I've lost count with how many times I've gone in and out. But I'm not going to cut my thread off. I'm just going to pass it underneath once. And then I'm going to use the same bit of thread to sew next press stud on. I did take it off, but what's the chances of me having lost it? Pretty high, I'd say. Where are you? Of course I've lost it. Why would you not have lost it, woman? Knowing how daft you are. So, pop that one on. And because you've just seen me sew one on, I'm not going to make you watch me sew other one on. So I'll be back when I need to sew the other one on. 2 ticks. So that's all done. So now we're just going to sew this last bit on, and I'm going to glue that around inside. So I'm just going to cut that off. Cut it with your pinking shears if you want or not. I didn't do my last one with pinking shears. The only reason I've done this with pinking shears is I reached for my scissors, they weren't there, and I picked up my pinking shears. So, haha, there you go. I'm just going to put some glue on back at ribbon, and I'm just going to glue it down. It really is that simple. Yes, art glitter glue does hold. I'm in the don't like Fabri-Tac and 3-in-1 camp. Yeah, it does have its uses. Some people love it. If you love it, you use it. It works. It's good glue. But my main reason is the smell. Yeah, I used to use Kalal glue, but even the smell of that now is starting to get to me. Right, so this, I'm not going to glue it on the back. Reason being, once it's fastened, you can then tuck anything you want in the back. Yeah, maybe you want to just pop your pen behind there, I don't know. So now I'm going to sew on the back of the top of the press stud. So these press studs, they come in 2 halves. I've sewn 2 of the bottom halves there up front at book, and I'm going to sew a top half onto this ribbon. Yeah, but I can't obviously put it there. Well, I suppose I could if I put a hole in, but I'd be very... I wouldn't trust it. You know, on a book being opened and closed lots, I wouldn't trust it. Yeah, you could punch a hole in your ribbon and then do it like that. So what I've done is I've got the bottom of an extra press stud. I've made a loop like that, which will... That's a bit of a long loop, woman. Yeah, so we're going to then have a tab to pull it on and off. I've put the bottom part of the press stud there on the underneath, and then just to look good, I've put another press stud bottom there, just so it looks good. I mean, you could put another press stud top there if you wanted. I chose to use a bottom. Should we try a top this time? Yeah, you could use 2 tops. Yeah, that would work. The bottom, it just seems to fit in nicer. So when I've got that to the length I want, I think that is going to be okay. Yeah, get it to the length you want. It wants to be, that's about 1 centimetre, 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch longer than where my press studs are. I then want it there. So I want it there on my number 22. So I'm going to get this, and I'm going to use my small hole side, and in the middle I'm going to punch. I'm just going to hold that taut because it tends to punch ribbon and fabric better when you do that. It hasn't punched the old bit out because it never does. I'm just going to trim that with my scissors, and then I want to put the bottom of my press stud on the underside. Yeah, and that extra bit I want to put there, and then I'm going to sew the whole thing together. Yeah, I have been very organised again, and I've got that ready. So I'm going to go in, doesn't really matter which side I go in there. Ooh, that pinged off, playing tiddlywinks again. So I'll go through one of the holes there. Right, there we go. Oh, don't pull it all the way through, you daft woman. If I had a brain, I'd be dangerous, me. Then I'll pop that bottom piece on. It sort of sits in. You can feel where it's supposed to be. It's a fiddly job, I'll tell you that for note. And I want to line the holes up so I can just go up and down rest of the time. So that's come up. I want to go down through that hole. This first bit is the hardest bit. It's come out of that hole. I assure you, at first is the hardest, because once you've got the first couple of stitches done, it will hold exactly where you want it to be, and you can just sew it. Oops. Maybe if I'd glued the bottom one. Here we go, done it. But it's Murphy's Law, isn't it? That the one I'm doing on camera is going to be more awkward. So I'll go back through there. There we go. So can you see now I've got the back, which is going to be the actual closure, and that is, it's just for decoration on the top. Move your chompy finger out of the way, woman. Come back. It's gone through a bit wonky. think this is turning into a tutorial on how not to sew a Preston on. It's because I'm wanting to sew that other piece on that's not supposed to be there. I know what it is. You could have glued it on after, but again, I wouldn't trust it just glued when I were going to be using it. Back through. Hopefully now it's going to sit nicely and we can just go up and down through holes we want. Is it? Yeah. We're getting there. There you go. I mean, if you're a seamstress, you might know a better way of doing this than me. But I got there, didn't I? It is fiddly. So I appreciate not everyone's going to want to do this. But I think it's worth it. End result is definitely worth the trouble. Luckily black thread and a black press stud. It looks good. Yeah, I've not quite got these I've not got the holes lined up as well as I did on my first one. Oops, no. Also, it's dark now and I'm doing it in electric light. I did the other one in daylight. So, there we go. Couple more stitches and then we'll be done. I won't stab myself, I promise. Because I know people always worry about that with me. I like to make it look more dangerous than it is, I think that's it. I like to pretend I'm a stunt woman, stunt crafting. I think I've got a child behind me breathing down my neck to tell me my tea's ready. I'll be down in a minute, Bex. Yeah. Yeah, I've had my tea cooked today while I've been doing this video. They're in good girl mode, aren't they? Santa's coming in a couple of days. No, they are good most of the time. Right. Pass one more through. And then to finish it off, I'm just going to go in the hole, but instead of coming all the way through, I want to come up in the middle of that loop. Which is easier said than done, but it is doable. Go on, you know you want to. It's not going to do it for me. No, it's not going to do it for me this time. I'll go back to the other side. And I'm just going to go. We'll just have to go over that edge. That's it. I just don't want you to be able to see where I finish my cotton off. That's it. And then I'm just going to go along where the line is and do a couple of stitches. You won't see them because they're on the line of the ribbon. Then I'm just going to pass through to the centre of the two bits of ribbon. Yeah, I've got nothing showing on that side. And then I'm going to wrap it around the press stud. There we go. I'm having to pass through that hole obviously to do this. And then I'm going to come up here again. I'll do it on back this time. I'll just put one extra stitch in, just because I'm a belt and braces kind of gal. And then I'll cut it off. So yeah, I know that were quite fiddly, but it's worth it for that end result. Now let's see if I sewed it on it right place. I've left that extra bit there because it gives a gives a bit of extra protection just around your journal. So yeah, there we go, and it's done. We've got a matching pair of journals finally. That's it. So then if you put more in your journal and it gets a bit chunky, you can move it along one and it lets that journal expand that little bit. Yeah. So yeah, give it a whirl. It is quite a quick journal to make. I think that closure takes most of the time, doesn't it? But as I say, you don't have to do that. But I think it's worth giving it a whirl. I would, if it's the first time you're doing it, practice it. I would practice it. Practice sewing one of those press studs onto a bit of fabric. The first one I did off camera went like a dream, like a breeze. That one, because I'd not got my holes lined up quite so well, it were a little bit more tricky. But you can do it. You can do it. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a lovely Christmas, and I'll see you again between Christmas and New Year. Thank you very much. Bye.